Okay, I get a signal from my colleagues who are handling the social media stream that we are right now streaming live on Facebook. So I think we can start the session. Uh, so good morning and a very warm welcome to everyone who's joined the session today. This session, viewers, today that we're doing is exclusively on the ceasefire's kitchen fire suppression range, and we've really lined up an action-packed session today where we will demonstrate live in front of you these systems taking on real fires. So viewers, thank you so much for taking our time and joining us in the session today. At Ceasefire today, we are a global fire safety conglomerate, with offices in India and in UK. We are today exporting pretty much all over the world. So before we get on to the specifics of the session today, I just wanted to give you a little view on who we are as an organization. So viewers, what we do as an organization today is that we bring to the marketplace, a range which is completely integrated one, and we are the rarest organizations in the world today to have such a diverse product portfolio in the firefighting segment, all as a part of one ecosystem. So, you under one roof, as a part of one organization, as a part of one ecosystem, you have a really diversified portfolio of the firefighting technologies that we're talking about, starting from the fire extinguishers, which is a word in itself, starting from the core line of ABC powder, water, foam, CO2 extinguishers of the world, to the special application extinguishers, including water mist and special, agents like, B plus and special extinguishers for metal fires, and that is that. Then coming on to the in-panel, your cabinet protection systems, there's a whole range that we have there, and then the whole world of room suppression systems or the total flooding systems, starting from, the chemical gases based systems to the inert gases based, and then you have a whole line of water mist based systems. And then lastly, there is the range on the kitchen fire suppression systems. And that is what we are profiling in all the details today in the session, viewers. So, all of these technologies that we're talking about today, are manufactured, by Ceasefire. So that is, I think, a big differentiator. What sets us apart from the industry is that all of these technologies, that we bring to the marketplace, are manufactured by us in our, state-of-the-art manufacturing facility, that we have in India, which is by far the most advanced in the world, anyone can find, in the firefighting domain. So in UK, viewers, we are today a fully functional brand with stocks all available, for us to serve, a network of distributors slowly coming up, with massive investments in offices and warehouses and logistics points, and a full-fledged product demonstration and training facility up and running in Birmingham today. So there is a complete module that is now ready, in UK, which is fully functional. So that's a small view of, where we are as an organization that I wanted to share with you. Now, coming back to the session today, which is on the Ceasefire's range of kitchen fire suppression technologies, is what we are going to showcase to you today, viewers. And these are systems which broadly fall into the two, large categories of one being the commercial systems meant for commercial kitchens, and then you have systems which are meant for domestic kitchens. And in both these, we do two technologies primarily. One is your water mist based systems, and then you have wet chemical based systems in both of these sides. So I think without taking too much of your time, what we will do is we will now switch the thing to the video mode and show you these systems in all their details from the Ceasefire Advanced Intelligence Center, and also would like to demonstrate these technologies live in action for you. And once you've watched that part of it, what we will do is we'll come back to the session again and open up the forum for any questions that you may have. So without taking any of your time, what I'll do is I'll quickly move this to the video feed where we've lined up the demonstration of the product for you viewers.
speakers. Welcome to another session of Ceasefire's demonstration. As Vishal told you, we are going to demonstrate our kitchen separation system today. Ceasefire has two categories of kitchen separation system, the commercial range and the domestic range. Within both these ranges, we have two kinds of systems, the wet chemical and the water mist system. So before we go in for a demo, let me tell you something more about this system and what we have for you. Ceasefire's kitchen separation system is designed for each kitchen equipment and customized by our designs team, which is totally trained by LPS 123 standards to which these systems would comply. So let's look at some of the components which are most interesting in this system. Come. As viewers, you will come in and close and see. The most interesting part of the kitchen separation system is the heat sensing tube, the HST. This black tube runs directly from the cylinder and across the plenum, covering all portions of the plenum and the duct. The HST has been designed to automatically start the system, and its continuous layout allows you to have hot and cold region fully covered over the counters. It also covers the duct and detects fire in any flue or behind the plenum or extractor. Now this kind of a coverage allows for a lot of advantages. For very first thing, it is not mechanical, it is pneumatic. So cleaning of this system and maintenance of this system is very low. Next thing, as it provides complete coverage, it allows the chef to have his hot and cold portions below the hood, and he can change it as per his requirement for the day. HST also allows that you can have a very quick response to the system, and there cannot be any mechanical faults with the system as in per se. The next best thing about this system is the nozzles. If we come and see over here, we have nozzles. These are the water mist nozzles. Water mist nozzles are spaced at a maximum of 0.4 meters to about 0.450 meters. They can cover hood sizes from 0.4 to about 8 meters. If we come to our wet chemical nozzles, we have nozzles which can be spaced at maximum 800 mm or 0.8 meters, and this can cover hood lengths from say 0.8 to about 8 meters. If you have selective coverage, then even you can go up to 10 meters. Now nozzles from Ceasefire have been designed in such a way that they have the intricate requirement of distinguishing agent, plus they have very specific coverage, and as you would have seen, these are placed, they are fixed and they do not move. So in your daily working as against a lot of competitive nozzles, these nozzles do not change their directions and cover your wrist at all times. Now let's come and look at some of the new features we have with wet chemical valve. If we come on this side, we have a very specialized valve. This is an indirect low pressure valve. Now to this valve is connected a ball valve lever. This lever position is very important to know if the system has been commissioned or decommissioned. And this can be monitored by a reed switch and a signal generator, which can be used to be by a monitoring panel to see how and what is the status of this ball valve. So we'll look at the response panel later. Let me tell you something more about the cylinder sizes available. With wet chemical, we have the 11.5, the 18 liter and the 56 liter, 27 liter cylinder. While for water mist, we have the 11.5, 27 and 56 liter cylinders, which can be used as a singular or multiple combination or a bank. So for wet chemical, we have a premix, and this premix has to be filled within the cylinder and is pressurized. So both the systems have the similarity that they are standalone systems. They do not require any external source. They are filled and pressurized, and they require no external energy source to run them. So your wet chemical is going to work on the fire by saponification. It froths over oil, and it will form a complete layer cutting off any air supply to the oil plus cooling the system. For water mist, on the other hand, the water mist falls onto the surface of the fire and it evaporates without even touching the surface into steam. And with this steam, the whole area inerted by steam, the fire is put out, and of course the energy which is used to evaporate water will cool the systems also. Both these systems are certified by LPCB under the LPS 1223 standard. And if we were to look at our response panel, please come on that side. Now we have a very interesting response panel. It's a microprocessor based panel which can monitor up to 4 systems. What it can monitor is that it can monitor the ball valve open and close position of the wet chemical system. It can also monitor the HST pressure, and it can indicate a loss in HST pressure, and it can also be integrated to your third-party devices like fire alarms. So your fire alarm can be integrated to this panel, and this panel can give an indication as to occurrence of any event on this panel. The next thing it has is inbuilt power supply. This power supply that does 2 parts. One, it has intelligent charging system for your batteries, and next it has a power supply which can run the hooters also. So if we were to see the next in line is our domestic range. In domestic range also we have 2 kinds of systems. We have the water mist system and the wet chemical system. Today we'll be doing a demonstration of water mist system for domestic range, and for a commercial range we will show you both the wet chemical and the water mist system. So as the oil is heating up, let's look at some small parameters or any questions you might have before that. So let's look at what these systems can further do. Domestic range, okay, is certified by BSI. So it's not more of a certification, it's more of a verification. So we have a whole lot of parameters which we have done for this domestic range on lines or similar lines to our commercial range, and which have been verified by BSI. So let's go ahead and look at the demonstration. Okay viewers, for the purpose of demonstration, let's see what we have created. Over here we have our deep frying trays. In this we have put in oil. We have put them on small burn. As they rise in temperature, you'll be able to see the temperature over here. As the temperature moves ahead of 300 or above 370 degrees centigrade, the oils are going to catch fire. What you are going to be looking at, the efficacy of the system, how the system runs, what is the coverage, how it puts out the fire. Plus you will see that all the nozzles are going to cover the frying area, the plenum and the duct. So as the oil is heating up, we will wait till there's a self-ignition, and then we'll see how the system is actuating. So we have the first fire. The wet chemical system is on fire. As you see, the temperature is 336 degrees centigrade. I will ask my fireman to now switch off the power supply to this unit. We let the fire grow, and as the fire reaches the HST and the temperature reaches, the HST is going to burst. The system is going to get activated. The agent is going to come on top of the fire. What you need to know is how efficiently the agent falls onto the fire, and preventing any flame out, protecting the user. Besides this thing, let me tell you something about the agent. The agent is a biodegradable agent, and it can be used for degreasing purposes. It can be used for cleanup post-fire. And let's patiently wait for this fire to grow, and the fire, let's see how the fire is getting put out. So anytime soon we are going to have a burst. You'll hear the HST burst, and you will keep watching the temperature. The temperature is over 344 degrees centigrade now. And that's it. So that's a very quick extinguishment and a very gentle spray. You can see the duct nozzle spraying on top. So we have coverage for the fryers, everything behind the plenum and in the duct. So let's look at the fire from a close point. As you see, the fire has totally been put out. Most of this spray is going to help you degrease your system, and the cleaning process is going to be very quick and easy. Let's look at the temperature. It's about 114 degrees centigrade, which is far below the self-ignition temperature of about 330 and above.
अगर बोलने के लिए मसाला है तो अलग बात.
Okay, viewers, excuse me. We are moving on to our next demonstration, the water mist demonstration. As you see, the oil is heating up. We have reached temperatures of about 330 degrees centigrade. Very soon we are expecting a fire in this system, and post that we'll look at the extinguishment for water mist system, and then we'll go on to our domestic range. So we have a fire. Fire is ready. I will ask my fireman to cut off the power source. As you know, these systems can be integrated to cut off your solenoid valves supplying gas supply, or to electrical relays if there are electrical equipment. So that can be managed through your PJ switch on the end of your HST, or it can be done by the response panel. So let's see how this fire grows. Keep watching the temperature. You will see by what efficiency or efficacy your water mist sprays onto the fire and puts it out. So we'll patiently watch as the fire grows and cuts off the HST. So temperature is rising. It's about 348 degrees now. Water mist nozzles are also arranged that the spray goes away from the user, so it protects it by any radiation from the flame which could harm the chef or anybody using the equipment. So we've reached 360 degrees centigrade. So anytime soon you're going to see here the HST burst, and with that bursting the system will actuate. With the HST losing its pressure, the cylinder will start sending water to the nozzle where the mist is formed. Within the cylinder there is a specialized rotor which allows to particularize water to a very special particle size of about 0.54 microns or 54 microns. And as soon as the system actuates, you can also hear your response panel giving out an alarm. So anytime now we'll see the actuation. (390°C), and that's it. Viewers, as you can see, most of the extinguishing agent water has evaporated. There is very little water left on the surface or on the equipment. And since this water is drinkable quality, you have no contamination of your kitchen. You can get back to work as soon as you have cleaned up. So we are waiting next for our domestic kitchen fire. As you can see on your screen, the temperature has reached 43°C. That is the beauty of water mist. The water mist really cools the fuel down. There is no chance of reignition post this. So let's wait for the fire in our domestic kitchen. Okay viewers, our domestic kitchen fire is about to happen. We've reached about 338 degrees, 339°C. Anytime soon we should have a fire. As soon as the fire comes on, my fireman will cut off the supply of LPG to the burners. This is simulating the same condition as in the case of real practical fire when there will be a fire. The system has the capability of sending a signal to a solenoid valve or a relay to cut off any gas supply or electrical supply to the heating unit. So very soon we should see a fire over here. We are about to have flame. The temperature has reached about 356°C. Our cylinder with water in a stored pressure of 15 bar is ready. Our pipeline is on. Our two nozzles are aiming at the base of the fire. As soon as there is a fire, the HST is going to burst, initiate our discharge from the cylinder, and water mist is going to come directly on top of the fire and put it out. So where water mist systems are charged at 15 bar, your wet chemical systems are charged at 19 bar. And accordingly, your PGS pressure gauge switch settings are set in to identify low pressure or discharge of cylinder. Very soon we should see a fire over here. So we are reaching temperatures around 370 degrees centigrade. Very soon we should see a fire here. As soon as the fire lights up, my fireman will run in, cut off the gas supply, and we'll let the system do the rest. That's flame, cut off gas supply. So as the flame rises, it is going to heat up the HST, which is in the plenum. The HST is going to burst. We're going to hear a loud sound of. And fire extinguishment. As you see, the flames have been put out. Temperature has come to about 231 degrees centigrade. Well below the reignition temperature. So we are not going to have a reignition. It's going to be temperature solid. Okay, now the flame is totally out. We have a temperature of about 213 degrees centigrade. Is that going to come in? Show our viewers the deep fryer. The flame is totally out now. And there's no chance of reignition. There's no contamination. And in case of domestic kitchen, this is a very big requirement. You see, all the food requirements of every day do not come from anywhere else but from the kitchen. So water mist is a very nice application for domestic kitchen fires. Though we have the wet chemical also with us. So that's all from our demonstration and at Advanced Intelligence Center. Over and back to Vishal. We'll take any question and answers you have on these systems. So thank you so much.
Viewers, I'm sure you enjoyed the live demonstration that Pranav, my colleague, conducted at the AI Center. I think he gave a very, very close and a detailed view of every fine aspect of these systems. And I completely enjoyed the session. I'm sure you did it too. So viewers, what we are doing right now is we are opening up the session for any questions that you may have, and we have Pranav with us right now. We can get them answered for you. But I think we'll take this opportunity to very quickly sum up, all the key features that, Pranav spoke about in these systems, because, while we are doing the demonstration, there is, a lot that we were talking about. But if we were just very crisply, summarize all that he's spoken about, I think the key advantage with these systems is the next generation advanced detection module that, comes attached with these systems. And that's where the whole advantage of, linear detection, the detection through the HST, the heat sensing tube, which gives you uniform protection throughout the length of the hood, is where the real advantage of the system, stems in. And that's where we have the whole aspect of the freedom coming to the chef, to change the cold area and the hot area and interchange as the meal service for the day demands. I think that's a huge advantage that the heat sensing tube, brings to the table for the actual users of these systems. And then he spoke about the fact that, every nook and corner of the kitchen hood, could be very well be protected. So whether we're talking about the plenum area, the duct area, so these are often spots which are highly vulnerable to catching fire, and systems are often, especially if you're talking about the conventional plug-based or link-based detection, that is where they have their limitations there. And then Pranav, you spoke about, the nozzles, how, one design works for all sorts of, fires to be extinguished, whether, we're talking about fires arising from frying, deep frying, shallow frying, or, a variety of, cooking methodologies that are used across the globe. And then you of course spoke about how these systems are customized for every kitchen that we're talking about. So it's not really an off-the-shelf system that gets going with every kind of kitchen. You design it really for every kitchen and work out the specific requirements, and that's what the beauty of the system is. And then you spoke about the fact that there are features like the valve, for instance, which are so designed that nobody can accidentally switch it off, so you're not accidentally deactivating the system, by accidentally by cleaning or doing your everyday maintenance work or so. And then you have spoken about the response panel, which really takes the intelligence quotient of the system to a whole new level, and you can integrate it with a whole lot of your third-party devices. Just trying to summarize all of your points for the ease of understanding of our viewers. And then finally these systems being low pressure ones. How you explain that in the water mist side you have pressure being pressurized on only 15 bar, and then 19 bar for the wet chemical systems, which are really systems which are low pressure in that sense, and become really safe to be installed in places where you have human presence, you have people around, and you have staff, and people working on an everyday basis. And then how we bring to the table the two prime technologies of water mist being absolutely eco-friendly. Distilled water is what we're talking about, so there is absolutely no scope of contamination or collateral damage for that matter. And then you have the wet chemical side, which is the most powerful agent that is possible to extinguish any kitchen oil fires. So I just thought I'll just summarize all of these points for our viewers, to help them explain what makes these systems truly outstanding, and the fact that both of these systems are today LPCB certified under the LPS 1223 standard. So if you can dwell a little more on this certification, what do we basically mean when we say we are certified by LPCB? Is it one component? Is it the system as a total? So if you can throw some light there, I'll mute myself here and you unmute there, Pranav.
Thank you, Vishal.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Vishal. I think you have very well summarized the whole system. Now, where you were asking about LPS 1223, LPS 1223 has been, it's a whole certification with further integrated system, where individual systems to requirements of their individual standards have been verified and have been checked. Say, if you were to look at the agent container, then the agent container has been checked as per the requirements of EN 3-7. Tube, of course, is checked for its minimum heights, its burst temperatures, and its aging and de-aging procedure is followed to look at the longevity of the tube. And of course, this is a pre-engineered system. So with pre-engineered systems, you have designated volumes of oil, say 45 liters in our case, the coverage area, the open area which can be protected, the height at which the nozzle can be placed above the fuel, then if there's splashing or no splashing. So a lot of parameters are verified in LPS 1, 2 to 3.
On the same lines, Pranav, we have a question which relates to exactly what we're talking about right now. Akhil, one of our viewers, wants to know whether the control panel that we deploy is also covered under the LPCB approval.
Yes. Akhil, the response panel is more of a monitoring panel. It's not a fire alarm panel. So there's no actual standard under which it could be verified. So it is though mentioned in our OEM manual, which is certified by LPS 1, 2 to 3, but there's no particular standard for LPCB for this monitoring panel. So this is more of a response panel, which we call it, to monitor the health of the system. So I would say no.
You have Joseph wanting to know whether the heat detection tube, what is the temperature range, and do you have a manual pull station also as a part of the system?
Okay, I will take a slide. I will slightly divulge into the system. The HST is pre-pressurized, and while commissioning it, it is connected to the pressurized agent cylinder. So the activation is directly linked to your ambient temperature. It is also linked to the pressure within the HST. So basically the system would be designated to work as two kinds of operation. One is the heat detection, where if there's a flame which comes in contact with the tube will rupture about 80 to 90 degrees centigrade. The other thing would be the rate of rise in temperature. So if it's rate of rise, then there's no flame in direct contact with the tube. But since the tube is rigid and you have a rapid rise in temperature around it, there would always be a heat concentration pinpoint source or one point on the tube, which would be the weakest point. And that would be softer than the rest of the region in the close proximity. And this would be the point of rupture. So in that case, we're considering about somewhere between 150 to 180 degrees centigrade with rapid rise in temperature.
Second part of the question is he wants to know whether there's a manual pull station that comes attached to the system.
Yes, there's a manual pull station. If you recall the video right behind us, there was it's not a pull station, it is a breakthrough disc where you can remove the safety pin, hit on a knob, and this acts as if this burst has been created in the tube or the pressure has been released from the tube, which opens the valve at the cylinder end. So it is more of a manual trigger, pneumatic trigger.
We have Matt Jacob who wants to know, Pranav, if the system is also UL 300 approved.
UL 300 not yet, but it is in, I hope it is in quick process and we should have it. But basic, it is LPS 1, 2 to 3 right now. Any further questions?
So we will just give our viewers a minute more for them to type anything else they would want to know. So coming back to our discussions on the detection module, Pranav, how do you see this vis-a-vis what is available in the marketplace today? You have your conventional systems based on the conventional plugs and the fusible links and all of those. How do you compare this technology with that of that?
See, Vishal, this is a very good question. C5 ponders over a lot of solutions before, actually catching on to one. And we actually respond to, the market requirements. So most of the troubles with other kind of detection systems is reachability into the duct area, the whole cleaning process or maintaining process of the detections like your fusible links, fusible plugs, the criticality of installation, because if they are wrongly placed within the hood, then there's always a chance of them not functioning.
Sorry, Pranav, I hold you there. I have another question. What I'm doing is I'm just giving the questions priority, and then we can continue with our discussions after that. So Matt again wants to know what was the size of the containers we used for discharge in both the wet chemical, the foam type system, and the water mist system. What size of the tank did we use in the demonstration today?
For the wet chemical, we used a 11.5 liter cylinder. For water mist, we used a 18-liter cylinder, 18 or 27-liter cylinder, sorry. And for our kitchen, we used a 3-liter cylinder. Of course, these are just cylinder sizes. The agent used within is calculated as per the number of nozzles. So in case of water mist, the agent that would have been stored within the cylinder would be far lesser. So for wet chemical, we use the total number of nozzles into 1.45 liters of agent per nozzle. That is the calculation. If you were to go for water mist, then it would be 3 liters for fry areas and 2 liters for plenum and duct. That would be the amount of water we'll be using. So for water mist, we had about 5 nozzles. For wet chemical, we had about 4 nozzles. That is 2 in the fryer, 1 behind the one in the plenum, and 1 for the duct. And for for water mist domestic, we were using only 2 nozzles. So that is the amount of agent we were supposed to use or we were using.
Sure. We have Joseph, who wants to know. I think we should break his question in 2 parts. First part of the question is the manual activation, not from the cylinder itself. We need to install the manual pull station, the control, the call point near to the exit area, because normally the cylinders are installed at high level. That is his first question. The second question is for the gas shutdown. Do we have dedicated solenoid valve available?
Okay, this is a nice question again. See where manual pull stations are concerned are, as you said, as you rightly said, I would say, the manual pull station has to be away from the wrist and en route to your exit. And this is how it has been explained in our manual too. Unfortunately, due to constraint of space or earlier installations, it appears to be behind the the kitchen hood. But yes, it has to be placed en route to your exits, far away from the wrist and for safety of the user. So I think that is where you are correct, and that is we also agree with. And the second thing is the valves. Now, the valves are basically to be chosen by what type of pipings which are available. And as in UK, this activity has to be carried by a specialized person. So the choice of valve is left onto them, and the fitting of that is also left to them. But what we will do is give you a pinpoint source from where this can be activated. So we'll give you a solution as to providing the signal for activation of these valves. But as per se, we do not have our own shut-off valves or relays. These are third-party devices.
Okay, one more question from Joseph. He wants to know, monitoring control panel is third-party approved? Is it also approved, the control panel?
No, not at present.
So you can go ahead and conclude your point on the detection that you were talking about. So I'll just come in whenever you have a question coming in here.
So going back to the HST, now the HST is connected, it is pressurized, it is connected to the head of our valve. Okay, and the valve head is pressurized due to the pressure in the HST. HST is laid throughout the plenum as a continuous lay, as a linear heat detector. And it also has a branch which can be extended into the flue or the duct. So any fire within the hood or in the duct can be detected in such a way. The loss in pressure can be detected by a PGS, which is connected to the end of the HST, which can report it to the monitoring panel, or you can directly take the switch output to trigger to an input module of a fire alarm system. The other thing would be that, since this kind of arrangement has very little or very few moving parts, this is a very reliable system. And to the cleaning of the system is very easy. Just remove the HST from its mounting, degrease it, and clean it. That's it. So that is why we chose the HST as a primary source of activation.
Okay, so we are having a very interactive session here. Another question that comes from Joseph is he wants to know whether the nozzles that are placed are based on the equipment or is it equally placed entirely through the hood? So nozzles are placed based on the equipment or is it equally placed entirely through the hood?
Yeah, as for any pre-engineered systems, all nozzles are tested for their working on different kind of fryers. So we have designated nozzles for fryers, plenum, and the duct in both the systems as per the requirement of the system or the size of the system. Say for a water mist system, we can keep the distance between the nozzle between 200 to 450 at the max. Depending on what distance we keep, we have to alter the quantity of agent within the cylinder. This is for water mist. But if we were to go for wet chemical, we can do anywhere between 200 to about 800 800 mm max. And here also, it depends on what distance we are keeping, how far is the cylinder from the hood, or what kind of protection, what is the size of the hood. We choose a specific nozzle for that area or that coverage of protection. So mostly they are limited to about 3 nozzle types in water mist and 2 nozzle types in wet chemical.
So thank you so much, Pranav. I think with this, we will conclude our session. But viewers, if you have any more questions, that you'd want to ask, you are more than welcome to write to us, in our Facebook handle, or you can write to us at response@ceasefire.co.uk, and our product specialist will be very happy to get them answered. Once again, thank you everyone for taking our time and joining us in this session today and staying with us through and through. Thank you so much indeed for joining us, viewers. Thank you so much.